Hello all, welcome to Cognitive Hub Linux command tutorials. I hope you have learned something from the previous lectures in this particular session, like in this particular Linux command sessions, because I have already covered all the basic commands that you need to learn in the previous 5 lectures. But in this particular video, I am going to tell you about how to change the user permissions or owner permissions or group permissions for a file or for a directory through the command prompt or through the commands that you need to use, and how you will give the read, write, access, execute permissions to a file as well as the directory using the chmod command. So that I am going to explain in this video. Now without wasting any time, let's dive into the video.
Okay guys, now in this video I am going to explain about the importance of chmod command and as well as how we need to give the permissions to the multiple users and the owner as well as the group permissions for that particular file or for a particular directory. And here, before going to execute some of the commands here, some of the options related to the chmod, here I want to explain you like how the scenario is and how the terminology will be look like. So here basically if you click ls here, so these are all the contents present in this particular root directory. So if you want to look into the inside any one of the directory, then you need to go into this directory by using some cd command that I already explained in the previous lecture about the ls and cd commands. But in this video what we need to understand is what exactly is user, group and owner is. So if you give ls space -l, so here you will be getting these contents. So for file, if you observe, you are getting these contents. Similarly for directory, you are getting these contents. So what exactly that means is, so basically R is for read access and W is for write access and X is for execute access. So if and the order is also like the first 3 will be belongs to the user and the second 3 will be belongs to the group and the next 3 will be belongs to the owner. So basically these 3. So just get rid of the first one, like the D option or the hyphen option, just get rid of the first one, because what it represents is if it is a D, then it means it is a directory, and if it is just a hyphen, then it is just a file. And the next 3 are related to the user and the next 3 are related to the group and then the next 3 are related to owner. So it will represent what are all the permissions that the 3 categories will have. So what are all the permissions that user have, and what are all the permissions that group have, and what are all the permissions that owner have. And if you are also like, we have also known as some terminology like small a. So what that means is, which means all, that means which includes all users, group as well as the owner. So if you mention a plus some permissions, then it will include all the for all the users it is having that corresponding permissions. So that I will explain while giving you some of the syntax, like some of the commands. But here what I want to illustrate is, so these 3 are belongs to the user and the next 3 are belongs to the group and the next 3 are belongs to owner. So here what it exactly represents is, so basically it will represent with respect to the numbers, and sometimes it is represented with the characters directly like R, W, X. You can change those permissions at any point of time that you want. Suppose I will explain it here with respect to the directory 4 here. So if you mention ls space directory -4, so it is a directory, so it won't have any contents inside that. Sorry, cat cd space directory 4 ls, so it doesn't have any characters, sorry, any data inside the directory 4. So that is not a big deal. So if you observe directory 4, we have all permissions for user and group, but we have only read and execute permissions for owner, but we don't have any write permissions for owner. But now what I want to do is, for user I want to have read and write and execute permissions, but for group it should only have the read permission, and for owner it should have only the right for owner it should have only the read and only the write and execute permissions, but not the read permissions. So for that, what I need to give is, so I will explain you the first one, ch. So in order to change the permissions, this is what you need to do: chmod space. So what are all the permissions that you need to change? For which one? Directory 4. That should be the third syntax, third argument. But the second argument here is, so we need to change for the second one, right? So for that, the first one I don't want to change anything, so it is a 7. And the second one I want to give only read and write permissions, only read permissions. That means 100, which is equal to 4. And the next one I want to give only write and execute permissions. No, I want, okay, first of all let's check these two. So what I am giving here is, I am giving user and owner as all the permissions like read and write permissions, and the middle one, that is group, I am giving only read permission. So if I enter, so the permission was changed. If I give again ls-l dir 4, okay, ls-l. So if you observe here, so previously we have this syntax like this permissions, or for users and groups we have read, write, execute permissions. But now if you consider this directory, so we have user with all the permissions because we have given 7, and for group we have only given the read permission but not the write and execute permission. But if you see the next owner permissions, we have given all the read, write, execute permissions. So this is how you need to change. So here why I mention here numbers 747, what exactly that means? So basically here the first 7 is nothing but is related to the user, and the next number is related to like group, and the next number, the last number is related to owner. So basically here the what 7 means is, so 7 in in binary representation, what it means is 111, which is equal to 7. Similarly, we have 4 is nothing but 100, which is equal to 4, and then 111, which is equal to 7. So what this means is, if we are having 1 in the first place, that is R is enabled, and if we are having 0 in the first place, then that particular field is disabled. And similar the next one, basically what it means is RWX is nothing but the positions, and if it is enabled then it should be 1, if it is disabled then it should be 0. So if you consider here for 7, R is enabled, W is enabled, and X is enabled. That means it is enabled all the read, write, execute permissions. So that is the reason why we have mentioned all ones here for user. Similarly, if you consider the second one, we have enabled only the read option, but we disabled the second two, like the write permission and execute permission. That means we have only read permission but not write and execute permission for group. So what is this corresponding representation in binary is 4. That means the 0 binary in the base with the base 2, which is equal to 4. So that is the number that we have given. And the next one is, we have given all the ones, that means we have given all the permissions to use owner. So that is why we have 7. So these are like this. If you want to give whatever the permissions that you want to give, you just need to assume it with the binary, and you need to consider the 3 ones for read, write, execute, and whatever the permission that you want to enable, just include 1 there, and if you want to disable, just include 0, and then compute whatever the binary number that it is coming, and then just place it over there, and you can execute the chmod command. So here what I want to illustrate here is, now I think you got this idea. So I'm just illustrating with some other example. So if I want to change the directory for permissions, chmod space, now I want to give all just a read permission but not any write permission or execute permission for directory 4. So for that case, what I want to do is 111. So what this 111, sorry, not 111, 444, and then directory 4. So if I give ls-l, so if you observe here, I am just giving the directory 4 with only the read permission, but not the write permission, but not the execute permission for both group as well as owner and user. So why I mentioned 444 here? Because I want to enable only the user permission here. That means 100. As I mentioned, the first one is for read, that means which is enabled here, and the next one is write, which is disabled here, and the next one is execute, which is also disabled here. So that is the reason why we mentioned 100, and I want to do the same operation for both group as well as owner. So what is the binary equivalent of this 100 is, which is equal to 4. So I just mentioned chmod 444 directory 4. So similarly, if you want to change permission for any of the directory or any of the file, just you need to do you need to place these particular files, place that particular number, and then you can do the chmod. And if you want to do it recursively, if you consider directory like cd space directory, inside the directory we have some of the contents, sorry, directory 1 ls. So we have these settings. So these are the settings that we have, but now what I want is, I want all the files present inside this particular file 1, file 2 nested directory, and this directory 1 should have all the read, write, execute permissions for all user, group, owner. So for that, what I want to do is, if I want to execute it recursively, then the command should be like chmod -r, then what are the permission, 777 directory 1. So if I do this ls space -l, so if you observe the directory here, directory 1, it is having all the permissions here, and if you open directory, ls-l, so it is also have, previously it is having only these permissions, only read, write permissions and read permissions, but if you consider now, it is having all read, write, execute permissions now. So if you want to do it recursively, then you need to add one more option known as the -r. So this is all about how you need to specify it with the numbers, like with the binary equivalent numbers. But now we have one more option known as, you can directly use plus and minus symbols. So basically, suppose if you consider cd space dot dot ls, so ls space -l, so if you consider this directory dir4, we are having only read access for both for all user, group, owner. But if I want to add some write and execute permissions for group, then instead of modifying it with the binary equivalent, so suppose let us assume if you are not that much good at binary equivalent conversion, then you have one more option known as using plus and minus. We can also add and remove the permissions. So plus is basically what it will do is, it will add the permissions to the whatever the users that we mentioned, and minus, it will basically remove the permissions. So here I want to give permissions chmod. So what I want to do is, for user I want to give write permission, write x. So previously for directory 4 we don't have for user write permission and execute permission. Now I am giving user, u means user here, g means group, and o means owner here. And what I am doing, I am giving user write and execute permissions for directory 4. If I do that, again I will check for ls-l. So previously we don't have here read, write, execution. We have only the read permission here. Now we have both read, write, execute permissions. So like this also you can add this, like user plus wx, and you can also add for user or for group and owner plus read, write, execution permission for directory 4, ls space -l. So previously if you consider here, we don't have any permissions over there for groups and owners. Now we have included both permissions at a time. Now if you consider this, both user and both group and owner is also getting the complete permissions of complete permissions of execute and write permission. Now we have seen about how to add like how to add permissions to the users and groups, or only groups or only owners, but we haven't seen how to remove the permissions of the existing one. Now if you consider directory 4, I want to remove execute permission from all the three. So what I want to do is chmod space, so I want to remove from all the three. So all the three means I want to remove from user u, group g, owner o. I want to remove the permission, that means minus. If I want to add, I need to give plus. I need to remove, that means minus. I want to remove x, that means only execute permission I need to remove, and that is for directory 4. I want to enter. So again if I mention ls-l, so if you observe directory 4 here, all the execute permissions was removed from the permissions tab, permissions column. So basically this is how you need to give permissions for a particular file or for a particular directory. So giving the permissions to the file or giving a permissions to the directory is completely same. So only thing you need to do is you need to remember this syntaxes, like how if you are good at binary conversion, then go for the binary conversion, and if you are not good at that and you have understood successfully with this chmod plus and minus and this terminology of ugo and rwx, then you can go with this syntax as well. So basically this is what all about the chmod command. So that is all for this video guys. Thank you for watching.